Mazal tov to my great friend Emmanuel, Emil. As sometimes you have a person that has many listeners. Every once in a while, one of them becomes his friend. So he became a good friend of mine. He always liked to help. He always have the heart of a Jew the way it should be. And I'm not surprised that all of you came to celebrate his birthday here. It's Rosh Chodesh also today was. We have a good Chodesh, Bezrat Hashem. Amen. He asked me to speak about the life of the Jewish couple, families values. Why it's so important? Because when you see that there is a problem in a community, you want to find the source of the problem and see how you can correct it before, God forbid, it can touch us also. Because if we see more and more families are broken, what's the point? Something is not right here. So maybe for the next half an hour, I won't make a long lecture tonight, because I know you came to celebrate a little bit. But for half an hour, I'll speak with Neder. And I will try to cover everything in 30 minutes. Problem number one today, most of the young couples, and some of you, soon you will understand what I'm talking about when your children grow up and you have to marry them, don't understand at all what marriage is. At all. They think marriage, it's a boyfriend and a girlfriend who likes to move in together, like in a secular world. But that's not the way it is. In a secular world, they move in together, they don't like each other after 2 or 3 months, they kick each other and they leave. No obligation. But when marriage, it's the most important contract that a person signs in his entire life. More important than business, more important than he buys the entire United States and sign a lot of documents, and everyone brings the media and they film and everyone is impressed. Look at this billionaire, he buys the entire place. That's nothing compared to the agreement that he signs with his wife. Why? Who knows why? Because when a husband and wife sign an agreement, one of the witnesses on the bill, on the agreement, is the creator of the world. He is the one who said that it's mitzvah to get married. He designed the world that a husband and wife will be a team together, and each one without the other, it's worthless, as the Torah says, that a person who did not get married basically missed his entire life. And if he even got married and didn't bring children to the world, also have a serious problem. Why the Torah has to say it? Why to upset people who don't want to get married? Some people don't want to get married. Say it's too expensive. Let me stay single like this. He's afraid to waste money, so he doesn't want to get married. The Torah wanted everyone to know that the real life begins when you finally unite with your other half of the soul. 2 halves of the souls unite together and create one complete soul. When people do not know what marriage is all about, right after the marriage, not even a week after, there's already problems. A week after, the Sheva Brachot ended, and now they're together alone for the first night, and there's already issues. Why? Because nobody prepared this young couple for what marriage is. What's the obligation of a man? What's the obligation of a woman? I always said in my lectures, if I had the time and the money, and you need a lot of money for it, I would create a college. I would build a college. What college? Not a college to learn that we came from the monkeys. No. I would create a college that teach men and women how to prepare for the day that they become husbands and wives. And raising children, which is a part of the family. And for that alone, you need minimum 1 year of studying from morning to evening with no hesitation if you're a very smart human being. There's a lot to learn. Just the man is thinking, what's to learn? I met my wife, I know where she is. I know everything about her in a week. What do you mean to learn a year? It's not about your wife only, it's about life. A person doesn't understand what does it mean first to be a human being. If a person is not behave like a human being, it's very difficult to be a husband or to be a wife. First, you have to be a human being. and after you become a human being as the Torah directed us to be, then the marriage automatically works beautiful. But when one of the sides does not know how to behave as a human being first, that's where the problem begins. Every little thing becomes an issue. So let me give you an example. After I've been saying it for a few years, finally in Israel, they opened this college. Now, they announced this week that there's some organization that they saw that the divorce rate is going to highest records ever in the religious world. In Israel alone, more than 750 couples are getting divorced in the religious world every year. And the religious world in Israel is not even a million people. And half of them are children. So how many couples do you have? You have a few thousand couples, I don't know, 20, 30,000 marriages, and 750 of them get divorced in a religious world. In a non-religious world, almost everyone gets divorced. It's already getting to 90%. That's the statistic. Why you ask, how can it be 90%? What, 90 out of 100 gets divorced? The answer is no. But some couples get divorced 6 times, 5 times, 3 times. So it raised the statistic to 90%. So maybe half, at least half, are getting divorced. So they made a sad joke in Israel. When people come to get married, there are 2 offices. One for marriage, kiddushin, one for girushin. So there's an old man sitting over there. Everyone who comes smiling from the office of the marriages, he says, wait, take a number here. So they get angry. They say, what, this is what you're wishing us? So he said, no, I wish I'm wrong. But I'm here for years. I see the statistics. Everyone who comes out of this room with a smile, return here 2 years later with tears. So I want to save you the 3 years waiting list. Take a number already. Hopefully you won't need it. It sounds like a joke, but it's reality. So first, to teach people how to behave. Let me give an example. What do I mean when I speak about the contract? How many of you, the men here, knew what you signed and the day that you signed an ketubah? There's any man here that can raise his hand and say, I know my obligation as I signed with 2 witnesses and the rabbi present next to me. Before I walked into the chuppah, they took me into a room and I signed the paper. When you buy your house, you check 500 times. 5 lawyers, another one, second opinion, your father-in-law, everyone who knows a little bit about business, you bring to check. Why? Maybe you lose $50,000, something they didn't tell you, right? Or a person signing a contract for cell phone. Cell phone, $50 a month. 10 times he check, he reads, he asks, he calls people, what do you think? Will I be liable for that? There's any penalty? He checked 500 times for $50. But the most important contract, no one knows what he signs for. So one man here can tell me what he signed on a ketubah? Nobody knows. That's okay. You're in a good company. Basically, nobody knows. They know they don't want to say. Yeah, they're embarrassed from their wives that she's going to say, oh, you know and you're not keeping it? So they pretend, they prefer to pretend dumb. All right. In reality, most people don't know, and you're going to see now what I'm talking about. First, when a man marries a woman, first obligation is to give her a place to live. It doesn't have to be a mansion in Beverly Hills or in Forest Hill Garden, but it has to be a decent place as she agreed to live in. If the place is not nice enough, she can say, no, I don't want to move to this place. And that's one condition. So he has to give her a place that she'll be happy living there. Second, he has to make sure she always have decent clothes to wear, nice shoes to wear, not 300 pairs like almost every other woman today have, 300 pairs of shoes. That reminds me, I once went to a house here in Riverdale. They asked me to put mezuzot over there. So I took with me an assistant. From the morning to night, I was putting mezuzot in this house and we didn't finish. The whole day, like 80 mezuzot, something like that. Now when I came to the woman's bedroom to put mezuzot there, I'm looking at the closet. I said, this is bigger than my bedroom. It's closet. So this closet also needs mezuzah. So as I'm putting mezuzah in the closet, I'm looking at the floor. They didn't have shelves yet. The entire floor, the size of a very big room, is pairs of shoes, maybe 300 pairs of shoes one woman has. And that was a very religious woman. Imagine if she wasn't religious, she would have probably 3,000. You understand? So he has to give her something to wear that she won't be embarrassed of. And what's the third thing? The third thing, he has to be a man for her, which means she didn't take a roommate that split the bills or sponsor her. She took a man, means a husband physically. He has to be with her as she wants him to be with her, just like the time when they met and everything was exciting and all that. It has to stay like this until the marriage, as long as the marriage is in effect, it must stay like this. Now what happens if the husband wants to go to learn Torah? He's very, very big tzaddik. He loves to learn Torah. He is not in nonsense. He doesn't go with friends to drink and to become drunk in the bars. We're not talking about this. We're talking someone who really wants to learn Torah all his life. So he wants to stay in yeshiva instead of coming home. So all week she doesn't see him except maybe 1 hour on Shabbat, 2 hours on Shabbat, in between the meals. Is that good or not? The answer is no. Why? A part of the obligation became, before you decided to learn Torah, is that you have to be with your wife at least X amount of times every week, as she wish. One wife would want you 1 night a week, one wife would want you 4 nights a week. But this is an obligation. It's not a volunteering suggestion. This is an obligation. You sign on it with witnesses. It's an agreement you have to keep. What happens if the wife that you have, she's extra righteous, like the wife of Rabbi Akiva, and she says, it's okay, I don't need it. I want you to go learn Torah. That's a different story. That means she's forgiving what you owe her. Just like your friend, you gave him a loan, and you see that he's struggling, so you come and say to him, you know what, you don't have to return. That moment, the legal document is not binding anymore in Shamayim. Why? Because you told him verbally, I forgive you for the money, even if the document is still written. If he dies one day, he's not a thief. Why? You told him, I'm forgiving you the money. If your wife come and say, I forgive you my obligation, go and learn Torah, then it's a different story. But as long as she did not say it clearly, you have to fulfill your obligation. One man came to the rabbi, said, Rabbi, I want tomorrow to come here, prepare a get for me, I want to give it to my wife and divorce her tomorrow. So the rabbi said, what happened? He said to him, she's not functioning in the house. Everything in a mess. Every night I come home, the meal is not ready. All kinds of excuses he has, mainly about the mess. So the rabbi said, okay, come tomorrow at 1 p.m. So the rabbi said to his wife, tomorrow, by 12 o'clock noon, you have to make sure the house is a big mess. Destroy the house. Everything on the floor, clothing, dirt, the garbage in the kitchen on the floor. Make the house look like a zoo. That when a person comes at 1 o'clock, he won't be able even to walk in. So the next day the person came in, he's sure that the rabbi agreed with him that there's some mess in the house. He walked in, he saw what's happening in the house, he couldn't believe it. So he said to the rabbi, you know what, maybe I should have a second thought. He thought, my wife is paradise compared to his wife. He doesn't seem to suffer. Most of the complaints that the husband make for the wife, it's all nonsense, if they really think about it. Why do they care that some toys are on the floor? Why do they really care that the house is not so clean? Why do they care so much that the hot meal is not ready every night? What's the big deal? That's problem with personality. We're in love with this world so much that everyone is thinking, what can I get more? And with this kind of approach, it's very hard to be in a marriage. Why? Because a person thinks, everyone owes me. My parents owe me. My friends owe me. My brother owes me. My neighbor owes me. My friends in yeshiva owes me. And now, who owes me the most? My wife. She came here to serve me. She's my servant. What do you think? I made this house. I gave her everything she wants. I bought her a $50,000 ring. I bought her a nice car. If she's not going to serve me, who's going to serve me? That's already a problem in a mentality. Why? Because a person cannot come into a marriage thinking, what do I get? He has to think, what do I give? Now, every person has to know that his wife is his mirror, which means whatever she does to you, that's basically what God is doing to you. Why? Because Hashem say, "E'aseh lo isha, ezer kenegdo." Ezer, the wife, should be an assistant. But the Gemara explained this pasuk. The Gemara says, "Zacha ezer, lo zacha kenegdo." If he's tzaddik, yesh lo zchuyot, he has merit, she's gonna do everything for him without making a beep. No complaints, with a smile, support, waking up in the morning, listen to his depression, listen to his pressures, do his errands, raising the children, support him 1,000,000%. Lo zacha, if he doesn't have the merit, every little thing she go against him. Everything. Non-stop. Every tiny things. Constant battle. War. 100%, one after the other. What is it? So we see that it's 100% in the hand of the man. If the man is fixing himself, most of the problems after 3 months with his wife are gone. Most of them are gone. Plus, every couple must have a third party. It's recommended to have a rabbi or another person who knows marriages according to the Torah, because there's a lot of marriage counselors that not only do not help, they make the situation a lot worse because they don't understand the purpose of life. They don't understand what marriage according to God. They don't understand the role of a man. They don't understand the role of the woman according to the Torah. So they teach according to the corrupted Goyish world that has no idea what marriage is about. So therefore, their mind is that the wife has to be just 100% equal to the man in everything, and it's not true. There are certain things the man has to be the boss. There are certain things the woman has to be the boss. Not in everything they are equal. In certain things, the man is the boss. For instance, in the house, everything in the house, decoration, colors, what kind of dishwasher, whatever it is, it's the wife's territory. What the children wearing, it's her territory as long as it's modest. Everything that connects with the cleaning of the house, it's her territory. There are certain things that you don't push your nose. You let her do it the way she wants. You don't, even if you don't like her taste, and you don't like the colors, and you don't like the furniture, or you don't like certain things that she does in the house, don't make a beep. It's not your business. You come there at night, you leave in the morning, she's there all day, supposed to be there all day, and this is her territory. Money issues, it's the man territory. Now you may say, I make more money than my husband. I'm a businesswoman, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a decorator. My husband doesn't make half of mine. Doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. Every penny you make from the time your husband signed on a ketubah and you agree to marry him belongs to him. You make $1 million, it belongs to your husband 100%. However, the reason it's like this, because the Torah did not want the man to live with the grudge against his wife. Why? Not only I give her a place to live, not only I supply her with clothing, not only I supply her with food, not only I do all the things that I sign on a ketubah, in the end when she makes money, instead of helping me, she's going to keep it for herself. There has to be some equal rights here. So the Torah say everything the wife makes belongs to her husband. However, if the wife comes to her husband and say, let's make a deal. I'll keep all the money I make for myself and you don't have to give me anything. So whatever you sign on a ketubah, you're not obligated anymore. I'll buy my own clothing, I'll buy my own gas, my own whatever. I'm going to take care of all my needs. And you don't, and I'm going to keep my salary for myself. And they both agree. There's no problem whatsoever. From that moment on, he's not obligated to give her money, and she has as much as money as she wants. From my experience, it's not a good advice. It's not a good advice, because families who thought to be wise, and the man had his own account, and the wife had her own account, always ending with a divorce. And not only a divorce, a very ugly divorce. Why? Because there's no trust in the relationship. Same thing, something they invented in America, prenuptial agreement. I want you to sign this and this and this before we get married. So it's like saying to his wife, I want to divorce you one day, but when I divorce you, I don't want to give you what you deserve. So sign already on a divorce before we even get married. What kind of marriage is this? That's ridiculous. That's why the Torah made a ketubah. What's ketubah? When a husband writes in a ketubah, that's what his wife gets. In the time of divorce, she gets nothing from his money, nothing from his real estate, nothing from any diamonds he has. Anything he has doesn't go to the wife. The sons inherit him according to the Torah. Only what he wrote in a ketubah goes to her. If she agreed to accept $1 million in a ketubah, that's all you get. If she agreed $100,000, that's all she gets. If she agreed $2, that's all she gets. It was up to her to say no. Once she agreed in the time of the marriage to get married for this kind of ketubah, that's all what she gonna get, chas v'shalom, if they ever get divorced. However, the husband can give his wife in his life everything. Before he dies, he can write an agreement by a lawyer or by a rabbi or anyone that even though my son's supposed to inherit everything, I want everything to stay for my wife until she passed away. And then when she passed away, then the sons will get whatever they get. But as long as she's alive, she takes everything. She is allowed. But if he died without a will, the rabbis, the Beit Din, must give everything to the sons, nothing to the daughters. Why not the daughters? Why? Discrimination. No scream. Discrimination. The Torah is prejudiced against women. Now, the opposite. The Torah is very, very supportive of women. The Torah says, Nashim yesh b'hem bina yetera. The Torah says that every holiday you have to buy your wife gifts. The Torah says you should never raise your voice on her. You should never be violent at her. You should always give respect. You should give your life. You should do everything for her. The Torah says if you want to be wealthy, make sure your wife is never upset. Because whenever you upset her, you should know that you lose money from your salary. So the Torah was not against women like some women may want to think. The opposite. Why women don't inherit their fathers, girls? The answer is, as long as they live in a house, the boys who inherit the real estate or the income of the father, they must support the girls until they get married. Once she gets married, she has a husband to take care of her. He's going to sign and take care of her. But as long as she's not married, they cannot do anything without first supporting the girl, and the mother gets what she has in a ketubah. Now one thing, what happened if the father left a lot of real estate, but he did not leave any cash? So now they has to give $1 million to his wife in a ketubah, but they don't have in a bank account. So she come to her sons, she say, you have to give me $1 million. So they say, where are we going to get you this money from? So they say, where are we going to get you the money from? So she says, sell the hotel and pay me my $1 million. So they say, wow, you want us to lose now to sell the hotel just because we have to give you $1 million? What does the Torah say? They must. She comes before everyone, before the boys, before the bank, before private people who the father owe money. The ketubah of the wife is the first mortgage. First one you have to cash out. Everything else is secondary. But they can reach an agreement. You don't want to sell the hotel to pay me my $1 million? No problem. You pay me $20,000 every month for my expenses. As long as you don't sell the hotel, I'll live with $20,000 a month. But as you stop paying me the money, the Beit Din force you to sell the hotel. They put a lien on it. They take it away from you. They sell it. They give it to the wife. So wife have rights. They just have to know when the time of the marriage to demand to receive enough protection that later they won't left with nothing. Now one more thing you should know, that one of the reasons that the marriages are not so successful today is because what the man sees all day long. Everywhere he goes on the street, everywhere he looks at, he see all these 20 years old supermodels that they keep showing them all over. And after 20 years that he's been married, him and his wife is not exactly the models they used to be, right? So everywhere the Yetzer Hara is tempting to make scenes. And then on the internet, especially if he works with that all day. And then today there's something that it's total cancer in our society. You can do good things with that, but unfortunately 99% of the things that people do is bad. It's Facebook. That people begin to have personal friends. In the beginning it's anonymous, later it becomes intimate, and that's how thousands of Jewish homes are broken to pieces. from what's happening there. Every normal woman, before she gets married, she has to write an agreement with her husband that he signs that in the time that she's gonna catch him touching Facebook, that moment the marriage is over and she received all the money, and the house and everything. If not, she doesn't want to get married, because 90% chance that before you get married, you should know that your marriage would end very bad. Why? If your husband have access to all the things in the street, your marriage would not last. Why? If the husband was a big Talmid Chacham who learns Torah and Musar every day, the chance that it will happen is much, much, much less. But still it exists. What's the proof it exists? I'll tell you a story. There's one rabbi in the Gemara, his name was Abaye. Very, very holy rabbi. Mechayeh Metim, Abaye. So there's a thing happened in the time of the Talmud. Rabbi named Abaye. He was a very holy rabbi, and he heard a boy and a girl, young man and young woman, that the woman asking for a ride with the man, a carriage, and he say it's a few hours ride, and she asks if she can get a ride with him, a single boy and a single girl. So he said, of course, why not? It's on my way, I'll take you. When the rabbi was an old man, when he heard that, he decided that early in the morning he's going to wait by the carriage, that he should follow them. He should follow them. When they gathered together early morning, the rabbi was walking behind them and watching them that they won't make a scene together. Single boy, single girl. For hours he was following them. Not only that, that morning he was supposed to give a shiur in yeshiva. Supposed to go teach Torah for the yeshiva. He canceled his shiur. There was no telephone to announce. He left early in the morning. He did not show up to the yeshiva. And he followed this couple. After a few hours, they arrived to an intersection. He went left, she went right. So they say goodbye, and they did not touch each other. And they didn't speak anything dirty on the way. Everything was clean. So he fell on the floor, and he started to cry. The biggest rabbi in the world is on the floor in the mud, crying. One person passed by. He saw such an important holy man. He picked him up. So, well, Rabbi, why are you crying? What happened? So he said, you see that man over there? He said, yeah. You see this woman over there? Yeah. I've been following them all the way from Yerushalayim. I've been following them, whenever it was. Maybe it wasn't Yerushalayim. But it said, I've been following them. And they did not touch each other the entire ride. So the men say, oh, that's very good news. So why are you crying? They didn't make a scene. So he say, you don't understand, huh? I'm not crying on them. I'm crying on myself. That if I gave a ride to this girl, I would for sure make a scene with her. The biggest rabbi in the world. Why? The Yetzer Hara. So if a rabbi like this told you in the Gemara, you would not resist the temptation, what are you counting on your man, your husband that doesn't learn 1 minute a week Torah? Him with all the Torah, which is an antibiotic to the Yetzer Hara, he say, I would not pass the test. People who doesn't learn Torah don't have a chance to begin with. So what's the solution? To block the evil inclination from entering their mind. Same thing women. But by women it's not as bad like the men. But many women cheated eventually, and their men caught them, and then the family broke and the children became miserable. Why to let it into the house? You want a chas v'shalom decree, a complete death sentence to the marriage, chas v'shalom. So the solution is better not to do these things. Better to make, if you have internet because you need it for work, better not to let the children touch internet. It's very, very bad. Even if you want to show the children something kosher on YouTube, some rabbi speaking or something, you have no idea. There's always on the side horrible things. And these kids, accidentally, they click on something and something pornographic coming out. And this is little children. All it needs that they will see it once in their life and their career is over. They can't learn in yeshiva anymore. They can't focus anymore. Even cartoon, some women think, I have a solution. Instead of all day the kids driving me crazy, Whenever they have off from school, I'll put them right by the screen and let them watch cartoon. So they think, cartoon, it's not bad. What's cartoon? I have news for you. You know what damage cartoon makes to the kids? I'll explain to you what I mean. In every cartoon almost today, they teach the kids that the violent person is in control. The way to control is to give punches. The way to control is to humiliate people. The way to control is to laugh at people. That's their culture. The Goyim don't know any better. So I remember when I was a kid, they used to have a cartoon called Popeye. You know Popeye? He used to eat spinach, and right after that, he gives punches to everyone. He gives punches to everyone, and right away, the kids, everyone wants to be a hero like him. So all day in school, people give punches one to another. You understand? Why? Because that's teach the children violence. And the children that grow up violent, one day their wives will catch from them. Why? Because they don't know anything else. They solve all the problem with violence. One more thing before we finish. It's very important that the house will have religion in a house. If there's no religion, if there's no Shabbat, the chance that the marriage will succeed is almost zero. Why? Because the house is never together. Shabbat, it's like a guard on a family, that the husband and the wife and the kids and everyone sit in a nice table like in a holiday, and they invite some family, and the kids grow up with the impression that we have a healthy family. My father and my mother, they love and respect each other. Every Shabbat and the table, everything is beautiful. They dress. He gives his wife a hug. Shabbat shalom. He comes from the synagogue. The kids, it builds their future tremendously. However, if it's not, if everything is like everyone is in his place, he's on a computer, she's in shopping, he goes with friends, this kind of house doesn't give the children the right education that they need, and later one day they cannot commit to any relationship because they saw how it was in their house. So one more thing, every man and woman have arguments. It's a part of life, you cannot avoid it completely. But one thing, we should never make this argument in front of the children. Never, never ever. Any arguments you have, go down to the car and scream in a car. You give this example to the children, that will affect them. There's no way to change it. They will grow up to be like you. Also, one more thing. I know in some mentalities, a man that drinks a lot of alcohol is considered a macho. That's a very stupid Muslim culture. It's not coming from Judaism. The Torah spoke very, very strong against men who gets drunk. There's no permission in Judaism to get drunk, ever, ever. Even the night of your wedding, even the most important night of your life, there is no permission to be drunk. A Jew can never lose control in 1 minute of his life. So if a man got drunk and accidentally killed someone, his own brother, he didn't want to kill him. He was drunk. He didn't realize what he's doing. What do you think the punishment of this man from the Torah? Is guilty of murder or no? He didn't know what he's doing. Then tomorrow you wake him up, he doesn't remember where he was. He doesn't know his brother is dead. He doesn't know. Hey, you wake up, you know what you did last night? You killed your own brother. He goes crazy. He may be mentally ill for the rest of his life. What does the Torah say? Is 100% guilty murderer. No discount. And murderers, the Torah say, must be executed. You don't leave them, you don't put them in jail. Murder, you kill him. Why the Torah didn't have mercy on this man? He didn't do it intentionally. The answer is the fact that he got into loss of control. Everything he does is guilty. He breaks the glass, is guilty. He breaks somebody's something, is guilty 100%. There's no discount. Why? Hashem cannot stand people who lose control. So don't think that it's great to be drunk and to feel and to make your wife embarrassed in public events. The wife always gives this fake smile and they die inside when they see that her husband become violent or he does stupid things. That's not the right way. That definitely doesn't have the marriage. You want to drink, fine, up to the limit. If you know you're about to lose control, you have to stop. You don't know how to stop, it's like an addiction. You don't touch it. The same thing people with drugs. If there was a way to control it, fine. But there's no way to control it. Once a person gets into it, You know where it's going to end up in 5 years from now. One last thing for today, one more thing to conclude. You have to know one thing. To build relationship, there is one trick. To build a relationship to be healthy. To build it with lots of compliments. All the time to give compliments. Now you may say, how would I give my wife compliments? She doesn't deserve it. I'm going to give her compliments about her food. Her food tastes like poison. I'm going to give her compliments that she's a hard-working woman. She's waking up at 11 and she does nothing all day. I'm going to give her compliments and this. So first of all, the answer to all these men and the wives who has the same idea about their husbands, the answer is catch one thing that they do right and begin with compliments. And also you're allowed to lie when it comes to compliments to create peace in a family. If the food of your wife is not so great, you tell her it's unbelievable, the soup you made. The meat is amazing. Even though it tastes like a shoe sole, doesn't matter. You tell her it's unbelievable. One thing you never say to your wife, I want you to learn from my mother how to cook this. That's a dead sentence to a woman. You don't tell her, learn from my sister. You don't learn from Moshe's wife how she make that soup. Don't ever do it. You understand why? It's the ego. The ego gets very hurt. And then the reaction is not something you want to see. Same thing by the men. You don't ever tell a man, learn from Miriam's husband how to behave, how he does this for her. That's also not recommended. What's the right way? The right way is let's learn together. You take a book about family and you learn 15 minutes together what the Torah has to say. And then when the people learn together, they feel embarrassed tomorrow to do what the book say not to do. And everyone has to have a rabbi or a consultant that he knows what he's talking about. And every disagreement that they have to call that person and say, we want you to be the judge. We don't want to fight. I want to go here for Pesach. He wants to go there for Pesach. We disagree. Can you tell us? So the rabbi will tell the wife, tell me what's the reason you want to go there. And then he said to the husband, tell me what's the reason you want to go there. And then after all that, the rabbi will say, she's right or he's right. End of argument. Why it's very recommended? Because if the wife sees that the husband always winning or the other way around, then it becomes a personal matter. But if they see that it's a third party, that it's honest, it is objective, he always say he's right, she's right, that's the end of the argument. You shouldn't have any reason to argue. Any questions before we finish? Any question? Any questions? Everything clear? I covered everything in half an hour. Yeah? That's it. Thank you very much again. Mazal Tov, all the best.